Welcome to the Vessel, a catalytic community where we anchor the Shekinah frequency, the feminine aspect of God, and where the Holy Spirit of truth passes through me from my mouth to your ears, so will it be. I thank the archangels for blessing me, for Gabriel for choosing me, and the ancestors for trusting me. All praise to the Most High. Angels, ancestors, and friends, and the non-physical of my collective that have messages of truth, clarity, prosperity, and empowerment. I welcome you into this space now. Welcome to Virgo season. May the neuroses begin. I'm kidding. Sort of. It is Virgo season, so I figured I would come on here and do a little forecast for what we can expect, the energies that are afoot, and, any messages that need to find you at this time. So I'm going to jump right into it. Honestly, I'm tired. Well, I don't sound tired. And I feel like this is kind of like an embodiment of the energy. Like, I've been working all day. I went out last night, spent the night with my friends, came home, and immediately just started tinkering away at... Sorry. I'm fully eating right now. Which has its own message in and of itself. Where I think you guys can be finding new sources of satisfaction. Like listening to people eat, like mukbang things, or... I don't know. I'm going to come back to that. But... yeah, I've been tinkering away at my little projects and things. And I finally wrapped up and I was like, I'm hungry. And so I went downstairs, I got me something to eat, and I have a story for that as well. And I was like, even though I'm tired, I just feel I'm in this productive flow. And I know that I need to do this reading. I know that I wanted to do this reading. And I have all of these messages that are flowing through me. So I might as well just come on here and get it done. And I feel like that is a testament to this energy where, like, you may find yourself in very productive flows. We are in Virgo energy after all. And when I was coming into this energy, I was singing a little song to myself. It went to the tune of... We're gonna hope that no one interrupts us while we're doing our thing. Yes, we're going to hope that no one interrupts us while we're doing our thing. So you could find yourself in like very focused, intentional energy. And so this could be a very good time to pump out projects, to get things done, hammer away. This is taskmaster energy all day long. If you've got things that you need to knock off your little list, this is the time to do it because the energy is supporting you to get it done. And another message that I have. So I was downstairs and like I'm like kind of I'm a little bit of a picky eater. I'm not gonna lie. I wouldn't call it picky as much as I would call it specific. One could call it an intentional eater. It may not be always what is for the highest and greatest good of my body, but we're working on that. Anyway, I was warming up this like Nigerian food that my dad made me, or my dad had in the house, and it's not what I usually eat. It's not what I'm used to. Like, I usually get the egusi and the red stew with oxtails, which is, I don't know why you needed to know that, but yeah, that's what I usually get. And that's not what we had. We had this red stew with like greens and things, and I'm just seeing all these meats that I usually don't eat, and I'm looking at it, I'm eyeballing it, and I'm like, I'm not satisfied with what it is that my eyes see, okay? And I'm very skeptical. I'm like, I'm going to eat it. I'm going to warm it up anyway, because I'm hungry and it's better than going hungry. So my mom's like, it's good. It's good. My dad's like, it's good. It's good. And I'm like, it's not what I'm used to. So, I mean, I'm going to eat it, but let's pipe down, And so I got up here and I took a little bite. I'm about to take another one. And I stood corrected. Okay. It's delicious. It's so good. And I know that it's good for me. And it's good. Like, it's good. So there's an energy of like standing corrected. This could be, there's an energy of standing corrected, but also maybe because I immediately got up and I was like, y'all were right. This is really good. So I think this could be an energy of one, like you could find yourself standing corrected in this season where, because you are inclined to stick to what it is that you know, what it is that you're familiar with, you may have someone suggest that you try something, maybe a different approach, maybe a new way of feeding yourself, healing yourself, approaching something, processing something. And you might be very skeptical and very hesitant to integrate whatever the suggestion is, but you will find after being open, being willing to take it on board, this sense of I stand corrected. And I think Spirit is also, in order for the energy to like reach its, I want to say like maximum fruition, like is not only will you stand in corrected, or someone else could stand corrected with what it is that you have to say. You're being asked to continue that, to take one step further, and also tell people when you feel like you've stood corrected. Like there's this like two-way street thing where it's like not only do you experience that sensation of like, oh, like I'm not only am I being put onto this new thing, this new way of being, this new way of eating, this new way of sleeping, I don't know, but also that person is also, they're getting their end of the bargain through what it is that you give back to them. And this is a season of giving and receiving, healthy giving and receiving. So that is something to keep in mind. Okay. And now going back to that message that I was talking about finding new sources of satisfaction. So, because I was walking upstairs and I was like, I'm fully about to record this while I eat, because I'm hungry, and 2 birds, 1 stone. And I keep saying how I'm hungry. So this could be a season where some type of hunger that you have had, whether it be like legitimate or not legitimate, or like physical, emotional, psychological, spiritual, whatever it may be, some form of hunger is getting satiated in this season. Or you will find a way to satiate a certain hunger that you have been experiencing in any of these realms. Okay. But I was walking up here and I was like, I'm absolutely eating while I do this. And, maybe we're going to step into our mukbang bag. Okay. And that's when I got this message of like, finding new sources of satisfaction, like being oddly satisfied by something, like coming across something that you feel very oddly satisfied by. But this is Virgo energy. And so this is healthy forms of sources of satisfaction. These are sources of satisfaction that tune you into your senses and tune you into your body. They are grounding sources of satisfaction. And you may find them in peculiar places, but they are legitimate sources of satisfaction. These are not sources of satisfaction that are escapist, habits or whatever. And I think there's actually a message here of leaning away from those sources of escapism and discovering new sources of satisfaction that actually tune you into your body rather than lend you to escaping it. Okay, because I feel that through tapping into your body and these new sources of satisfaction, or whatever this is that you're discovering that ends up satiating a certain hunger that you've been experiencing, it taps you into like new energy sources that you're able to conserve, generate, and conduct in new ways, productive ways. Like I'm almost like being back to like what we were talking about at the very beginning about being in these very productive zones where through calling your energy back from places where you were kind of trying to escape out of your energy, escape out of your body, through calling your energy back from those habits, hobbies, routines, tendencies, thought patterns, whatever it may be, and then discovering this new way of operating, it's helping you conduct your energy in a way that's like, it's almost like you can power a whole town with all this energy that you've been able to conserve and build up. And by power a whole town, it's like you're able to power your whole life. So maybe like you can experience a much greater sense of vitality in your body that you haven't tapped into in a while. This is like where whatever, I'm almost getting the sense of like these other habits, routines, rituals, like habitual way of being, what it was zapping your energy so much to where like it's like high risk, low reward is what I want to say. So it's like maybe you get this illusion of satisfaction in the moment, but then it zaps your energy and you don't have enough energy left over to then get everything else done that you need to do in your life. Like you have enough energy to do maybe the bare minimum, or you have enough energy to focus in like one area of your life, but all these other areas of your life are kind of like falling by the wayside, or they're not getting the attention that they need. They're not getting the sources of like the funneling of energy that they need in order to like live and thrive and all of these things. And because you're so exhausted with like how it is that you're funneling your energy, you are lending yourself to these like more escapist ways of like dealing with like the stress of that. And so it just doesn't leave much left over. And so pulling your energy back from this, reconstructing how it is that you're approaching whatever this has to deal with, it now is allowing you to like, I'm seeing like power chords. I have a spread here, and one of the energies here is like power lines. So kind of like the power lines that you see like going along like a highway or streets or whatever. But what I'm seeing in my mind's eye is like, if you're at the center of it and you're like the main generator, these power lines like coming out of you in every which direction in a circle. And there's these little bursts and bouts of energy that are going through each line and into the respective places that they're generating energy to, in order to light up to power or whatever, and it's all like flowing out equally. Whereas the other setup, it's like all the chords are going to one thing, versus each thing has one chord and it's all flowing out properly. I got a little lost in the weeds there, but the whole point of this is about energy conservation and finding new ways to like power your life, basically, that don't deplete you and don't render you incapacitated and unable, like you have it takes you longer to like reboot, if that makes sense. So it's like, because of how exhaustive this is, or this was, how much time that you needed to recuperate your energy was taking away from your ability to then do other things. Where it is now, that like bounce back, that ability to just regenerate the energy, and like, you know, you can rest and you feel rested, and now you can, you know, get up and you can move towards something else. Like, that's what you can expect to step into in Virgo season. But this is by way of taking on board a new idea that introduces like a new way of doing something, or a new way of approaching something, or a new level of insight into how it is that you are doing something, to where that you can refine that process. So maybe this doesn't look like scrapping something altogether, but it looks like, it looks like a refinement of what it is, whatever it is that you've got going on already, so that it just runs smoother. Okay, so what else are we looking at here? The spread is over on my desk, and I'm sitting. And I'm sitting on my bed. So I took a picture of it. So, all right. What else do we got here for Virgo season? So the main themes for this Virgo season that I'm seeing here is about perseverance, healthy giving, and reunification, getting reacclimated, reacquainted with something, someone, an aspect of self, and also pains of the past, phantom pains of the past, being absolved and offered up in order to make space for what's coming in. So the numbers 18, 36, 38, 7, and 14 and 13 are significant. So these are either important dates, you know, in September that could be significant, ages of people that maybe introduce certain ideas to you. The number 2 is also significant, and that talks about decisions. It's like talks about intuitive decisions to me. And so okay, I'm noticing something in how like I'm moving through this energy, and it's bringing up a message of like, focus on one thing at a time. I think there's going to be a lot coming at us in Virgo energy, in Virgo season, where it might seem like you have a lot of tasks, an abnormal amount of tasks to get through. But in order to be able to do the job well and also hold on to your sanity, there's a need to treat each individual task like it is its own thing, and focus on one thing at a time. You can recognize and organize like your process. You can recognize that, you know, I have these things that I need to get through, and so like I need to budget my time well and make sure that I don't lose myself in this task to the point where I then have to rush the next task because I didn't give myself enough time to do that task because I gave too much time to the other one, blah, blah, blah. So there's a need to take one thing at a time. Breath work all day long is going to be a saving grace throughout this season. It can get very, your nervous system could kind of like be on fire if you don't have a mindful practice to really get you back into that energy of flow and peace within your body. Okay, like we can talk about peace in a way that I think can be oversimplistic. Like, peace is simple, that's what makes it peace. But at the same time, especially in the Western world, we can live such chaotic lives, such noisy lives, that being able to carry a sense of peace with us everywhere we go feels kind of like a pipe dream, or at least like that's how this message is coming through. And so maybe you could feel that way. But we're being reminded that there are very simple ways to reconnect to peace in the moment. Even if you haven't completely made peace with the entirety of whatever it is that's being laid at your feet, you can connect to peace in the moment by connecting with your breath, breathing deeper into each moment, and allowing for realities to suspend for a moment, and that your whole focused intention and awareness is being brought to you and your breath. And you would be shocked at how this helps you bring in a sense of clarity in your mind and like focused intent in how to like move forward. So with this number 2 energy, I pulled a card from this Dirt Gems deck that my sister gave me, who is a Virgo, a plant queen, if you will. Her apartment literally looks like a jungle. So that could be another source of satisfaction that you tap into this month. Maybe getting yourself a plant, becoming a plant parent, getting a new plant, maybe having a new approach to how it is that you take care of your plants, whatever that may be. But I love this deck because it just talks about different herbs and plants and, things of the natural world that have this energy and remedy to all of these different aspects of our experience as, humans. And I want to share what this season's dirt gem is. It is anemone. Let's read, shall we? Page 28. This card talks about, it's called the Wind Rider. So opening up your window, letting the wind in, fresh air. I can't stress that enough. Like, I keep having these little lispy moments. So this may also be a message about like slowing down. This might be a very demanding season where you feel inclined to speak fast, move fast, go fast. But to be like coherent and received well, there's a need to take your time with something, breathe through something, and let it, trust in that process. Because if you move too fast, you may either have a lisp accidentally or just stumble over your words or make careless mistakes in a way that you could avoid if you were to just be a little bit more mindful, move with a little bit more intention, and not succumb to the erratic, like, neuroses energy that may be afoot in the collective during this season. But yeah, so this deck, it says anemone is the wind flower. Open your window, let a rush of fresh air wash over you. Watch the curtains blow and know that this windy bloom will help you remember what it feels like to be here and now. Loosening the petals of your heart. Anemone shows us old, stuck, determined places in our lives. Perhaps they are wounds or simply tired beliefs. Anemone lifts your shutters and lets the wind dust your corridors. Anemone is for the obstinate, but also for the fragile. Closing at night and reopening in the morning, anemone knows how to protect resources, how to shelter, how to open up to the world at the right time. Anemone has long been called the diviner of weather systems, known for conveying when rain is impending and closing their petals in anticipation. We learn from anemone's rain divination to pay attention to what is around us, to all the signals we receive, and respond to subtly with attention and devotion. Anemone is a loosener of the often strongly held self-preservation patterns in our thinking, the habits in our body that live in preparation for the next disaster, or the belief that doom is inevitable. Yes, disasters will come some days. Holding a sense of awareness and preparedness is essential to our survival, but living in a state of hypervigilance will overburden the systems we need in order to survive and be okay. Anemone dislodges some of these deeply entrenched beliefs. Anemone is acrid, known as a poison medicine, and should only be ingested in small doses and handled with care. Poison medicines are potent, they are powerful, and thick with the strength of calling to action of boundaries and getting attention onto what is needed. Anemone says, release your petals to the wind. I love this so much. When I first read it, I was like astounded because it was just so on the nose with Virgo energy in so many different ways about like protecting your resources and being mindful of your beliefs, your mental pathways, and that sense of self-preservation and how it is that we go about that, how it is that we go about being dignified and like protecting our dignity. I did a mood board and words for this energy that I'm going to put up on the community board, but I wrote how like you are learning how to protect yourself without lying. You are learning how to preserve yourself without lying. Lying is easy. It really is. Like, it's difficult sometimes to be like very blatantly honest with people, to be like honest about like what your capacity is, what you can actually lend yourself to, what you're going through, how you're feeling, what you're experiencing. It's easier, and it's also saves a whole lot more time to just say, oh, I'm good, it's fine, I can handle this, I can manage, blah blah blah, when in actuality that may not be the case. And so we're learning. I one of my favorite readers ever, and she's like a spiritual mentor to me in a lot of ways, Jess, over on the Jess Pluggett Chaos Witch, I'll tag her, but she talks about how the spiritual path is just the path of like unhypocriting oneself. And the shadow aspects of Virgo energy oftentimes to me can look like, the ultimate hypocrite, because you can be very hyper aware of other people's faults and flaws and where it is that they're going wrong, what it is that they're doing wrong. You can analyze everything and pull data out of how it is that they're approaching something. You can see the faults out of their approach, but you yourself have not been able to integrate your awareness and integrate what it is that you observe and what it is that you can see, so that you are also embodying what it is that you know. And so I think there is messages here about, one, forgiving yourself around ways times where you knew better but didn't have the strength to do better, times where you either may have been a hypocrite, either accidentally or intentionally, and recognize that this path, this time period of maybe, because there are a lot of planets retrograde right now, so this time period of review and being brought back to spaces in time where it's a stark contrast for where it is that you are now, holding space for that version of self, and rather than viewing that version of self through a hypercritical lens, being able to integrate that constructive criticism while still viewing them through a lens of compassion and understanding that, like, even if they could have technically done better, they didn't do better. And maybe that's all that they could have done based on the energy that they were in or the influences they were under or whatever it may be. And so being able to forgive yourself, being able to forgive them, and free you and them from those binds of just flaw and like fault. It's good to recognize where it is that we can evolve and where it is that we've been, but there's a really strong message of like not getting stuck there and being able to continuously move through these energies by forgiving yourself over and over and over again, wherever it is that you need to do that, taking that moment to breathe, sit with yourself and say, I forgive you. I forgive this person. I forgive myself. I forgive this industry. I forgive this company. I forgive this time period of my life, whatever it may be, and just seeing how this air of forgiveness blows through these parts of your lives, these parts of yourself, these parts of your memories, and allows for a new story to emerge and a new way of feeling about yourself and where you've been to emerge. I think this comes from, I was talking about how the number 2 talks about like this intuitive decision. I feel like in this season, you are going to be making the decision to like finally forgive something, yourself, somebody else, whatever it may be. But I think it's making the decision one, to like really look at something, as well as release it and let it go. There's also, we talked about like protecting your resources, and there's a message here about healthy giving. And so there's a need not to overextend yourself in this season, because we are going to be feeling that pulse of productivity pumping through this season. You might feel like, I can do it all. I can do everything. I can do this. I can do that. I can handle this. I can manage that. I can do that. Like, I can do it all. But there's a need to remember that, like, sometimes the most productive thing that you can do is rest. Sometimes the most productive thing that you can do is sit quietly with yourself in a park with no other rhyme or reason other than the fact that it feels lovely outside and you just need a mental break. And this is a way that you can healthily give to yourself, because if you're not giving to yourself in a healthy manner, then you're not giving to others in a healthy manner. You are sacrificing yourself in order to give to others, and that's not healthy giving. That's giving, but it ain't healthy. Okay. So there's a need to check in with your priorities in this season and make sure that they're still in an order that you feel good about and that you feel is, in your best interest ultimately, and is in the highest and greatest good of like everyone that may be involved in something. had to take a chew break. So you could also be making certain decisions about how you're eating, and these could be intuitive as well, where it's like you're not like speaking to yourself like in this season I've decided. Maybe just like your tastes are changing, what it is that you're particular about is changing, and it's all kind of intuitive because like your body is just knows what it needs and what it wants. And like the more that you are creating this mind body awareness and like leaning into that relationship, you'll notice that you're just leaning away from certain things, leaning towards certain things. And I think you're just being asked to go with the flow with this. Allow for certain things to fall away, be open to new things that are popping up in your sphere of awareness around ways that you can feed yourself, take care of yourself, both physically and mentally, emotionally, psychologically, spiritually, all of these things. Because I mean, the content that we consume, the music that we listen to, the things that we watch, the people that we talk to, the places that we go, these are all ways that we feed ourselves. And so you may be finding that being in certain circles, being around certain people, listening to certain things, watching certain things, being on certain platforms doesn't sit well with you. It doesn't feel like it's healthy for you. And you may have this like adverse reaction where you want to abstain, you want to remove yourself. And this is, you're being asked to go with the flow, to trust yourself, to trust this like intuitive engine that's really guiding you at this time. And like brings me back to that message of like forgiveness, like understand that like it's okay. It's just change. There's another card in this power card deck that I have that it's like, I'm safe. It is just change. And so making these changes, like even though they are somewhat intuitive, they could be difficult at certain parts because like maybe you have people pushing back on the decisions that you're trying to make. They're like saying like, oh, well, you've never been like this before, or I know you to be this way and I know you to be that way. And it's like, as new levels of awareness about yourself and about your needs and about what is healthy for you emerge and you begin to embody those things, we change as people. And like people that don't allow you the sovereignty to grow and change and evolve are not exactly people that you need to be around, and people that you need to take on board what it is that they have to say. You can let them yap in your face if you so choose, but like them being a source of guidance or like a light that you follow isn't exactly something that you need to do. So in this season, like in the tarot, the Hermit card is Virgo energy. And to me, the Hermit it's the sage, it's the wise teacher, it's the spirit guide. It is like the kind of expertise that comes from like walking in those shoes and like being in the field, walking the path, doing the work. And so that I'm seeing like the Hermit in reverse talking about this type of energy where it's like you will have people that think they know a lot about a thing and yet they have not walked the path, and they're trying to tell you how to do it. They're trying to tell you what you should be doing, what you shouldn't be doing. Or this is someone that just like, they don't have a great inner processing system. And so there's a lot of like projection or a lot of what it's like the veneer of what they have to say would be one thing, but it's hollow because it's not backed up by embodiment of like, this is tested and tried and true because I've lived it, because I've seen other people live it, because I've done it, because I trust in it myself. And it's just coming from this place of like projected expectation. And so there's a need to be mindful of that kind of guidance or that kind of instruction, and really following your own light through this season. Okay. And this could also be, be mindful about unsolicited advice, okay? If you are someone that knows a lot about a thing or knows a lot about a lot of things, and you are inclined to help people, and or maybe you see something in the way that someone's going about something, this is about giving people the luxury of their own journey, and honoring the process of their own evolution and how it is that they're moving through life and moving through this stage of where it is that they're at. And before you go to interject yourself into that space by saying how you would do something, how you think it should be done, or how you know it to be done, or whatever it is, hot button topics, or whatever it is that you want to say, I think there's a need to ask yourself, run it through your own internal processing system of is this helpful? Truly, is this if I were to give this person a piece of my mind, would it be healthy? Would it better their situation? Would it be good for me and them? Is in the highest, greatest good of this situation for me to open up my trap at this point in time? These are things that we need to be asking ourselves in this energy, because this is a very critical energy. And so you could feel almost quote unquote possessed by this Virgo energy that's collective. And depending on where it is that you're at within your own energy and how inclined you are to raise that within yourself, you could dip into the lower vibrational aspects of this energy and be very critical, very protrusive. Is that a word? That's what just came out of my mouth. Abrasive, and almost prying in a way that is inappropriate and unwelcome. And that the other thing about this hermit card in reverse energy that I'm gonna say, and then I'm gonna get off of this, is sometimes when we have a really deep level of insight, that it comes from understanding ourselves really well. When we have a deep level of self-knowledge, a lot of that can be universal to where it does apply to others in this grand scheme. And we don't always know where someone else is at in their level of self-awareness. So sometimes when you share what you feel like you're aware of, because you're aware of it within yourself and you can see it within this other person, and they haven't reached that level of self-awareness yet within their own selves, and you don't ask first, I'm noticing something, would you like, for me to illuminate something for you or whatever, or putting it in the context of yourself first, it can feel very invasive, and very, it can feel very invasive to do that, because it's okay, they feel seen in a way that they don't want to be seen. So it's about being very mindful of that, and very understanding when you have that gift or you have that ability, you also hold a level of power, and with great power comes great responsibility. And so there's a need to be responsible with how it is that you share certain messages or information. I feel like that's kind of a specific message for someone. If you have the urge to tell someone something, and you can see something about whatever it is that they're going through, and you know that they're kind of insensitive or raw energy, there's a real need to either, one, keep it, hold it to yourself for now, or to be very sensitive and delicate with how it is that you express this. This is why this energy takes place on the Virgo Pisces axis. Without that Piscean energy of sensitivity and empathy and feeling a sense of collective oneness with people and things and all things, and you're all the way on the opposite ends of that Virgo energy, you can be very removed from the feeling space in a way that is almost surgical and mechanical, and like very cutting, because Virgo is a mercurial energy, and that's the air element, the sword element. So it can be very, your words can be very do more harm than good ultimately. Okay? And the energies could be flipped as well. Like you could maybe be on the receiving end of someone's words that you feel like are very abrasive and very intrusive and harmful. And there's a need to understand that like you will get through this. Okay. And you know, I'm hearing the Christina Aguilera song Beautiful that's in this month's playlist of you are beautiful no matter what they say. Words won't bring us down. So this is about remembering who you are, staying connected to your inner light, and understanding that someone's words do not define the totality of you, even if they may be like spot on about a specific energy that you may be existing within. Energy is fluid. We are constantly changing, and you have the ability to evolve out of anything in any situation. No condition is permanent. And, you know, you are an amalgamation of a lot of other words other than the ones that hurt you the most. So, yes, there's a need to have some faith, okay? Have a little faith in this time. Whatever it is that you could be waiting to hear back about jobs. You could be waiting to hear back from like a lover. You could be waiting to just see a change within yourself. That maybe there's a part of you feels like is a long shot, or like you need to be perfect in order to qualify. You have everything that you need inside of you to fulfill your dreams, is what I want to say. And so maybe you haven't embodied or cultivated or realized all of those aspects of self inside of you to the degree that you would like, but they are there. And so this is about trusting the process, having a little faith, and continuously forgiving yourself, and not being so serious and so mechanical in your approach to the point where you forget to go with the flow. When you're too rigid in your process and you don't have enough play, it makes for a very, very sad Janae. And you don't want me to be sad, obviously. Okay? So be nice to yourself and have a little faith, because I think you have an idea that honestly has merit. Like it has something that like goes to the root of something in a way that's like really beneficial and healing for whatever space that you wish to like contribute to using this idea. It could serve to heal or be a form of medicine for either yourself, other people, a community, by cultivating this idea and working out the kinks around how it is that you wish to like get this fully up and running. But you know, you do have, I think you could be like an idea machine during this time of just this overflow of, and it feels like you may be coming up with a system for something. Like maybe you're coming up with a system to how to like organize your thoughts or organize your ideas, organize your work. You could be doing that in the season. You could also, I want to say that like protect your ideas, protect your intellectual property, protect things that are budding right now, but don't put them so much under a microscope to where you don't give them air to breathe. Okay? You can kind of cut the life expectancy short in certain ideas if you cut them down through being in an overly analytical lens and not tapping into the broader big picture, the imagination of what something could be. Maybe it doesn't look exactly the way that you want it to look or what you think it could look like yet, but this is about, like, again, tapping into that Piscean energy, incorporating that into this space and having a sense of imagination, a little bit of whimsy in order to get through the difficult parts. I'm seeing this oracle card from the Tau deck where it says, it talks about something being difficult in the beginning, and it's like someone cracking out of an eggshell. So you could really be in the infancy stages or something. And so there's a need to understand that it's always going to be difficult. It's always going to be more difficult in the beginning, getting something up and running. But I think that you could be flowing with ideas. There's a need to keep track of them, write everything down. Spirit could be talking to you really heavily and giving you instructions as to how to realize certain ideas. But if you're not writing them down, you can't expect for your brain to just be this supercomputer that retains all of this like cosmic information at the drop of a dime. Write things down, make voice memos, do all the things, because I think you might be getting like a how-to of, like, you could be writing the system, making a system. I keep saying that. I don't know. That, like, you could be creating a system. So there's that. Yeah. You could be creating a system of that where you establish like a systematic approach to cultivating these ideas. So I don't know. I'm just seeing in my mind, like, I'm trying to make this database in Notion right now, and I have the outline for how it is that I need to make the interconnected databases that I want. So I have the instructions. Now I just need to do it. So I think that's like significant here of like, you have the instructions, or you're being given the instructions. And then maybe either this is the season where you get the instructions, and then I'm hearing November is when like you'll like implement those instructions, or you've gotten the instructions and this is the season where you now have the energy and the drive and the productivity in the mind for implementing these ideas. Okay. So there's also a message here about a reunion of souls. You could, I'm hearing birds of a feather, we should stick together. Yeah. So, Birds of a Feather by Billie Eilish could be significant. You might want to go check that out, which is also in my Gemini playlist, if you want to go listen to that. Mercurial energy. So this could be a meeting of minds. You could be finding someone in your flock, finding someone in your tribe, being reunited with someone from your flock, being reunited from someone from your tribe. I'm getting third house energy here. So this has the vibes of like, childhood best friend. Like I'm seeing like my first friend ever, Nia, in my mind. So this could be someone like you haven't seen in a while, or like maybe you guys have like very different schedules and you don't have a lot of time to always get together, but in this season you find yourself on the same branch, in the same lane, or in the same place, or whatever. You have time to get together to hang out. This is a reunion of souls. I'm also getting a different message of like, this could be a reunification with your own soul, a reunification of between you and an aspect of self that you're getting reacquainted with. But this just has the vibe of because I'm hearing butterfly fly away. And so this could have been someone or something that you feel like left from you or flew away from you at a time, and now Yeah, I'm hearing that, like, when you love something, let it go. And if it comes back, then you know that it's yours. So this could be like that kind of energy where it's like you let something free, you set something free, and now it's like flowing back to you, flying back to you as like this reunification of souls. Okay? Um what else, spirit? I want to read these power cards. So these cards are meant to signify like where it is that you're going to be finding your power, the most power in this season. And you're going to be finding a lot of power in your imagination, and you're going to be finding a lot of power in your feminine aspect of self. Okay. So, and there's a lot of purple here in these cards, a lot of purples, oranges, blues. So lots of crown chakra, sacral chakra, throat chakra energy. So this is like birthing up ideas, and expressing what it is that you sense and see and what you're able to conceive of now. But I also, there is a message coming through about keeping some of what it is that you are coming to understand to yourself for now, and focus on being in communication with yourself before you try to go and explain your process and your path and what it is that you know now or whatever to a specific person or to people. But lots of Violet Skies, which is a song by Snow Allegra, and she's talking to her, like her former self that, you know, was at the very beginning stages of her career. And she's like talking to herself about how, like, you know, I would have told you that everything works out, that it's all okay in the end, like that kind of energy. So you could be tapping into like a bigger picture perspective during this season where you're able to kind of reflect on your former self, yourself at the beginning of whatever journey that you may be walking at this time, and able to kind of have this like hindsight 2020 type of moment with between you and yourself where you see how the work's been worth it and like what it has given way to. But the imagination card says, exploring the wilderness of your own soul through contemplation brings you to the altar of your imagination. To have a circle of imagination in your being, walk with the untamed, wild, instinctual side of your nature, all the time knowing its power, like a woman aware of her own pregnancy and yet moving through the round of daily tasks. You need not focus on the unborn life for its nature to continue to grow. Remember always that the inspiration often comes after reflection, after the seed of creativity is planted. When you actually begin your creative work, the energy of the universe comes to you and imagination flows. Yes. Yes. Remember always that inspiration often comes after reflection, after the seed of creativity. So to me, what I get from that is like, I'm almost like being drawn to my own experience where it's like I started my blog in January. I planted that seed, and then I put up 2 blog posts, and then I could recognize that something was changing within me. I was changing within like my approach. Like I was recognizing that the ways that I was speaking to myself, like that Virgo energy, the ways that I was like processing synthesizing my process and how it is that I go about creation and whatever, I knew that I needed to shift my perspective or I was going to zap all of the fun out of this and I was going to kind of ruin this experience for myself. And I kind of did a little bit because I was just like, this I was making it about something that it's not supposed to be about. And I got my ego into the mix, and I was taking this like perfectionist approach, but I'm hearing that phrase of like how procrastination is procrastination is a form of perfectionism, and perfectionism is a trauma response. And so I'm not here to diagnose you. Okay. I'm just repeating what's coming out of my noggin. And anyway, for like from March to literally now, I've been sitting, reflecting. I haven't put up another blog post yet, but now in the past few weeks, I have all of this inspiration of like how it is that I want to reconstruct this space and reapproach this space. I have a new blog post coming up soon. I just finished that tonight. That was the things that I was working on that I was telling you at the beginning of this, where it's like I was in this productive zone, but that came after a period of reflection, after planting the seed and then letting it sit and marinate for a little bit. And so I think there is a need to either reframe something that's been going on in your process, where it's like you're not stagnating, like this is a part of the process, or allow for this to be a part of the process where you're not like prying the juice out of a seed. Like you let it sit and take root and start to sprout, and then you water it, and you don't sit there and put it under a microscope as you investigate its growth. Like you could fry it because of that lens and like the light coming through it, like letting it breathe and having, a sense of imagination, sense of wonder, a sense of faith of like what this could turn into, rather than like beating it down with your eyeballs of like what it is now. Okay. Number 13, feminine. This card says, the world is bereft of feminine consciousness. To bring Mother Earth back into balance, we must bring back our awareness of her. Language is a barrier between us, but woman has always communed with woman in an unspoken language. Her roots are entwined with the essence of Mother Earth, for she too is feminine. Woman is the keeper of the planet and must not let her energy be rerouted by the male systems within woman or man. We are all in need of world harmony. Mother Earth has been misunderstood, but she is the universe. She is the womb for all that lives. Ooh. Feminine consciousness is the energy that embodies the wisdom you need at this moment. Yes. So I was talking before about like writing certain systems. So maybe you've been operating in a more like masculine type of system in order to get things done, or like how you've approached your life, but now you're stepping into like a more feminine system where it may not be, it has its own methodology, but it isn't as like structured and rigid as like a masculine system would be. And I can't speak to this for you. Like this is going to come up through you naturally. And that is the essence of like what is being talked about here. And that like feminine intuition of like letting your intuition be your guide more so than the projected expectations that you have or someone has had on you. And that part about woman has always communed with woman in an unspoken language, that took me back to what I was talking about before about being mindful of what it is that you say to people during this period of time, and being conscious of like what's being said to you, and recognizing that you may be able to express something, maybe not in words, but like your devotion or your dedication or your duty, or like how it is that you give of yourself, how it is that you yeah, that's what I want to say. It's like it may more be like, I'm getting like acts of service versus words of affirmation. Like it may be more in what it is that you do, more so than what it is that you say, that is a better approach to either mending something, correcting someone, or yeah, whatever this may be. So I feel like that is everything. I really want to say that, like, you guys are so strong and creative and beautiful, like in the genuine sense of the words, of like being full of beauty. And there's a lot that's been able to grow and blossom even through all sorts of influences and difficult times and environmental pressures. And yet you are starting to see this flowering that's giving way to like a whole new aroma in your life. And if you allow it, and there is that aspect of surrender in this season, and understand if you are going through it at this time, like, you will get through this, and it will lend itself to, I want to say, like, a really strong source of inspiration, and like a inspiration towards a project, but also like towards new philosophies that you integrate into your life, where like a new light shines because of whatever it is that you get through in this season, where you know that, like, I can count on myself, I can rely on myself, I can be self-sufficient, and I have all of the resources I need within myself to steer myself in the right direction. So I think also, like, I know I just said like acts of service versus words of affirmation, but I do think that there is a message here about affirming to yourself consistently throughout this season of like, I am healthy in my body, and I give healthily, like, adopting these mantras in your own way. But I'm going to read the back of this healthy giving card, and it says, today I will practice healthy giving, understanding that caretaking and compulsive giving don't work. I choose what I want to give, to whom, when, and how much. It takes time to learn how to give in healthy ways. It takes time to learn to receive. Balance will come. Yes. Okay, so we're going to get some quick messages from your guides. I'm not going to divine them or anything. I'm just going to read them as they are. So if you have like certain things that you want answers to, I say hold those questions in your mind. And yeah, that's what these are going to be for. And then we're going to close out with a Gaia Oracle message, and that's where I'm going to leave you guys. So I'm going to shuffle really fast, and I'll be right back. Okay, so in terms of signs, pay attention to trees. The natural world has what you need. Pay attention to the birds. They may have messages for you. And flowers. There's just an emphasis on like getting outside, touching grass, getting your hands in the dirt, connecting to the earth. Okay? There's something about lost things being found. So I feel like Virgo energy is like who finds the lost things. So you could be finding something that you lost. You could be finding a person that seemed lost or was lost before they found you. I don't know. But yeah, I just want to mention those things before I get into the channel messages. On the bottom of the deck for my channeled messages deck that I wrote, we have, we are proud of you. So your ancestors are proud of you, guys. Don't feel like you're not doing good, because in their eyes, you are leaps and bounds, Okay. So we have, you are never too good or too high vibrational to receive help or be amongst people who are not or different from you in some way. And on the back of this card, we have high horse. So take that. We have, using your gifts to support yourself financially is not something to feel guilty about. Amen. We have a quote from another one of my favorite readers, which is Rosology, and it says, learning not to take people's pain personally. You are learning not to take people's pain personally. And then we have this card that says tattooed energy. So you could be addressing an energy that you feel would need to be surgically removed, is not easy to clear, ingrained/branded, or a principal energy that's significant. You could be checking in with these energies or addressing an energy that's like this. But it says branded and printed, not hazing, but the kind of pain or discomfort that proves devotion, willingness to sacrifice, and commitment to the upholding of this energy. So you could be coming into contact or addressing tattooed energy. And then we have a quote from I think this is Cage the Elephant, but it's Shake Me Down. And it says, I'll keep my eyes fixed on the sun and 10 toes down. Stand on it, unwavering devotion, no going back. Someone is standing on a decision they made and have no intention to back down or backtrack anytime soon. And then we have, forgive yourself for the lack of boundaries we were never taught or conditioned to have. Don't forget, at some point, you deemed yourself a reliable enough resource for trustworthy insight that you sat down and made this deck for moments like this. Take a breather and rest, knowing clarity will come. Yeah, I just feel like your guides want you to really trust yourself, trust your intuition, trust your gifts, recognize that there's value in your gifts and that they have afforded you a light to carry that you can hold on to when things are dark so that you can navigate your way through. You're not as lost or helpless or inconvenienced, I just heard, as you may think. And this card is a truth that's meant to find you at this time. This could be your truth or a truth that someone feels towards you but won't say. And it says, I'm so jealous and insecure, I can't even see straight. I don't know what I'm looking at when I look at you. I just know I want it for myself. Okay. And then from the messages from your guides deck, we have possess self-confidence, trust your intuition. What did I just say? Learn from your mistakes. Death is an illusion. And make each day count. Period. And then from the Empath's Empowerment deck, we have practice patience. Press the pause button. Take a day off from being frustrated with yourself or others. Patience reaps great rewards. That is literally this whole reading in a nutshell, basically. Energize yourself with the weather. Pay attention to rainbows, okay? I saw a triple rainbow in Amelia Island at the beginning of this month, and it just made me grovel at the feet of the holy and divine, because what on earth? It was so incredible. But yeah, it says, enjoy the warm sunshine, the wind in the trees, the cleansing rain, or the clarity after a snowstorm. This will increase your aliveness. Yeah, there's just a lot of clarity that's on offer in this season, where whatever truth that you've been searching for, whatever sense of clarity that you're searching for, I feel like you're finding it. You're getting to the root of something, and it's either bringing in a reunification with yourself or a reunification with another person. Maybe someone that you feel like is jealous and insecure and they don't know what they're looking at when they look at you. Or maybe you're realizing that this is really the truth of a matter between you and somebody else, is that you're jealous and insecure and you don't know what you're looking at when you look at them. But I don't know. That was just something here, but there's a need to forgive yourself and recognize that there is clarity in forgiveness. and to just stand 10 toes down on the decisions that you're making at this time, because they're being patient with yourself and being able to tap into the bigger picture, where it's like I'm standing 10 toes down on this. I'm planting this seed and I'm going to water it and I'm going to see it through. It's going to pay off in dividends, but you have to trust yourself and not uproot your work just because you're not seeing the rewards that you would want just yet. Okay. So final message from Gaia, number 6. This is from the Gaia Oracle. I love this deck. I love the art in this deck. I love everything about it. But it says number 6, the search. Feeling lost, confused, lonely. Lonely. I am so lonely. I am nobody. I'm on my own. You're not on your own, sister, because you have me. We in this thing together, okay? So this says the days of our lives are forever changing, just like the 4 seasons of nature. Spring follows summer, then come autumn and winter, and then the cycle starts once again. At present, you are symbolically experiencing a winter season. Life seems dreary, and it feels as if everything has come to a halt. You may be feeling a sense of loneliness and confusion, and it feels like you have lost your way. Searching for answers that do not appear to come, wanting to know why, and yearning for new inspirations. When will passion and excitement for life return? The answer to your question is soon. Without a doubt, spring always follows winter. Look at the lady on this card. Notice how she looks out to the horizon, searching and yearning, unaware that the first rays of sunlight are just beginning to glow from behind her. Very soon now, the light will shine upon you and a new cycle will begin, full of new ideas, new inspirations, perhaps even a new love of some kind. I love that. So the affirmation for this card is, all is well in my life. I give thanks for the changing seasons. In solitude, I grow stronger and wiser. My mind is clear. My heart is open. I am always on the right path. Woo! Lovely. That rocks, you guys. As seasons change both climately and internally, it's more than natural to feel like a sense of melancholy, loss, grief, difficulty, resistance, and the changing of things. But I don't know, if you're a person that struggles with the seasonal depressies, or just isn't very fond of, can be very stuck in their ways, very particular about the flow of things, being introduced to a new way of flowing, a new way of being, can feel uncomfortable in the beginning, but there is so much around you that is rooting for you and is there for the purpose of developing you and fostering you and your growth. So if you're feeling away, if you're feeling like you can't go on, or you're struggling to get acclimated to a new routine, or you've hit a lull in the routine that you already have, reach out, reach up for newness, and reach out to your community, because there is help. There is help. Whether you reach out to me, whether you reach out to a friend, whether you reach out to your family, there is assistance, especially in this season, and it abounds. There are plenty of people that are overflowing with expertise, overflowing with experiential knowledge, overflowing with insight that can help you at this juncture. And so I just want you to remember that, okay? So this is where I leave you. I want to thank you for being here, for sticking it out with me to the very end, to the bitter end. I want to thank your guides, your ancestors, your angels, the Holy and Most High, for your bright idea that includes all of us, and just being here today. So none of this would be possible without all of us working together to create the whole of our reality. So bye. That's all I have. Have a great Virgo season. Get out there. Attack the day, seize the day, whatever it is that they say, and I'll see you on the next one.